Hello students, I am sure you have understood the poem The Inchcape Rock by Robert Southey. In this video, we will be discussing the icebreakers and brainstorming section of the poem. Before we begin, I would like you all, those who have textbooks, kindly take your textbook and a pencil and make the notes while we discuss these two sections. The ones who do not have textbooks, please take a rough book and make a note of the same. So let us begin. The first section, that is icebreakers. Prepare a word register related to marine life. So when I say marine life, what are the various things that come to your mind? The things that are related to marine life. So I have made a note of few of them. The one is already given, sailors. Then we think of ships, ocean, waves, coast, fish, seashore, and salty water. The next one, the functions of a lighthouse are. Now, what is a lighthouse there for? Why do you need a lighthouse in various places? So, first, to show direction. Second, to warn ships about dangers in the sea, like the one we saw in this poem, that one lighthouse was constructed on the Inchcape Rock to warn the ships about the dangers of the rock which was present there. And the third one, to guide sailors to reach the coast. So some lighthouse you will find on the coast. So the sailors know that yes, now we are nearing the coast and they can sail in that direction. The next question, discuss in pairs the various famous rocks in the world and mention the places. The first one, Balancing Rock. The place you will find this rock is Mahabalipuram. The next I have made note here, Wave Rock, which is in Arizona, USA. Then the Rock of Gibraltar, which you will find in the Mediterranean Sea. And the third one, Split Apple Rock, which is in New Zealand. Now the next one, narrate in the class a story about someone who destroyed or spoiled someone else's good work. We have come across such kind of incidences in our life. Now here, since we cannot do this part, you can bring to your mind an incident where someone, or maybe it might be you, who tried to destroy or spoil someone else's good work. So just bring it in your mind, that incident, and think about the consequences or what could have been done in order to avoid that. The next question, discuss in pairs and groups the following expression. Take the help of your teacher. So here I will just give you a brief explanation of each of these. These are proverbs and phrases, or idioms also you can call some of them. Now the first one, as you sow, so shall you reap. In Hindi you say, jo boge, wo paoge. So if you sow a mango seed, you'll get a mango tree. So it's the same thing in your deeds. If you do good things, then later on in life you will get good rewards. The next one, crime gets its own punishment. गुनहगार को अपने गुनाहों की सजा जरूर मिलती है. We know that. Sometimes we see or we witness such kind of incidents where somebody who has done something wrong is not punished. But that is not the end. That punishment will definitely come back to that person. And so we must not think that if you do something wrong, nothing will happen. You will not be noticed, so nobody will punish you. No, it's not like that. Somebody is always watching us, and if you do wrong things, then you will get its due punishment. What goes around comes around. Okay? जैसे कर्म करोगे वैसा फल पाओगे. Whatever you do, your actions, your deeds, whatever your acts are, your rewards will come back to you in those ways. Then tit for tat, jaise ko taisa, we say, no? So tit for tat means if you are a good person, people will be good to you. If you are a bad person, then people will be bad to you. Then evil digs a pit for others but falls into the same. This can be said like that. दूसरों के लिए गड्ढा खोदता है, वह खुद उसमें गिरता है. Okay, so you make plans for others to fall in trouble, but eventually it will be you who will be in trouble, like we saw in this poem, the pirate who wanted to bring trouble to other seafarers, but one fine day he himself, uh, he faced the trouble that his boat, it got crashed against the Inchcape rock and he died. Okay, so all these proverbs, idioms, they all tell you the same message, that is, your actions will get their due results. It's the karma, okay, we call it. So, karma, whatever you do, you will be rewarded in that particular manner. Okay, it's the same message that is given by all five of them. Okay, so now let's go to the brainstorming section of the poem. Narrate in groups the scene described in the beginning of the poem. So we know the poem begins, okay, with a very calm atmosphere. So at the beginning of the poem, the poet describes that the ocean was very calm and steady. There was absolutely no movement. Okay, the waves were very small and there was no stir in the air, neither was any movement in the sea, and therefore they did not move the Inchcape Bell. Also, that the ship stood still as the wind blew too slowly. The waves didn't give any push to its sails, and the ship's keel was upright and still. So, absolutely still and calm weather is described in the beginning of the poem. The next one. Complete the following sentences. The abbot of Aberbrothock placed a bell on the Inchcape rock because. Now, why did this abbot place the bell on the Inchcape rock? Because the sailors could not see earlier, but after he placed the bell, the sailors could know that they are close to the Inchcape rock, which was hidden under the waves, and prevent crashing into it. The next, the mariners were grateful to the abbot of Aberbrothock because. Why were the mariners grateful to the abbot of Aberbrothock? Because he tied the bell to a buoy on the Inchcape rock, and this act of kindness saved many sailing mishaps and thus the lives of the sailors. The next one, the result of the thick haze that covered the sky was that the sailors could not see the Inchcape rock, and so the ship crashed against the rock, and the rover and his crew died. The rover, in frustration, pulled his hair and cursed himself because, out of jealousy, he had cut the Inchcape bell. The missing bell had been the cause of the tragic death of the rover and his crew. The next sentence. Given below are the events that give the theme of the poem in a jumbled form, arranged in a proper sequence as per their occurrence. Now we know the entire story, what happened from the beginning till the end. So they have given you all those incidences. We have to just arrange them in order. So the first one would be the abbot of Aberbrothock had placed the bell on a buoy on the rock. The waves were so small that it did not move enough to ring the bell at the Inchcape rock. Ralph bent over from the boat. There was a thick haze spread over the atmosphere, and Sir Ralph cursed himself in despair and in frustration tore his hair. The next one. Describe the qualities of the abbot of Aberbrothock in your own words. Now we know that this abbot of Aberbrothock, he had placed the bell on the Inchcape rock in order to warn the sailors against the Inchcape rock which was present there. So having known that he had done this thing, what qualities come to your mind? There are two which are already given: benevolent and big hearted. What else are the qualities that is seen here? Another quality that is seen is kind. He was very kind. Out of his kindness, he did this act. He was compassionate. He felt bad for those people who had met with that accident. And so he didn't want any more accidents to take place. Then he was thoughtful. Okay. He started thinking how these accidents or how these incidents could be avoided. And he was also empathetic. He could feel the pain the sailors would feel when their ship would crash against the Inchcape rock. And in order to take away that pain, or in order to do something about it, he the placed the Inchcape bell. Okay, so these are the various qualities that describe him. Then jealousy is the most incurable defect. Justify. Now, how do you know? We children, that jealousy usually refers to the thought or feeling of insecurity and concern about others' fame or dignity. Okay, somewhere or the other, we have had this feeling about someone. It might be your friend, it might be a family member, it might be anyone that you might have come across up till now. Okay, so we have felt this feeling of being jealous. Okay, we are being jealous about people who are we think are better than us, or who are well off than us, who are doing much better than what we are doing. Okay, so this is our way of thinking. Okay, of course we also can work hard and do things like others do, but you have these kind of feeling that you feel insecure, that okay, somebody is doing well, and that is not good enough for you. Okay, so that is the feeling of jealousy. So in the poem, Sir Ralph was jealous about the abbot's fame and his kindness. He could hear everybody talking, everybody was talking nice about him, that yeah, so nice, this abbot has placed this bell, and hence they could avoid the accidents that could take place, and all of those things. But he saw that nobody praised him, or nobody spoke well about him, and this thought made him feel jealous and do something against the abbot. So this bell, which saved many lives, but in the fit of jealousy, he cut the bell and tried to end the abbot's fame. Now, what he thought, that if he cuts that bell, then nobody will, start or continue talking about him, because there is nothing good that is now done by the bell, because the bell isn't there. Then he could not accept the popularity and the praise the abbot got. However, this act resulted in his own doom. Okay, so he just did not think in both the ways, that yes, okay, he has done this thing, but because of that, I myself, being a pirate who most of the time is in the sea, so I myself would also need that bell. But he did not think in that way. Rather, he thought that no, I just want to end the fame that he's getting, and so I'm going to cut off that bell which he has installed. Okay, however, this act resulted in his own doom, and thus we see that the rover's jealousy could not be cured until the end. So we see that till the end of the poem, this feeling of jealousy which the rover had, okay, was not cured, and hence he himself died. Okay, so like that, we also sometimes feel, and if at this moment you are jealous about someone, children, it's time for you also to think, okay, about your jealousy for that person. Rather, you should start feeling good, or start praising, or should work on your own shortcomings, those which you think, okay, are the things that you are falling short of. Start doing things in that regard, rather than wasting time being jealous. Okay, next. But the rover's mirth was wickedness. Explain this line in your own words with the help of the poem. So, how can we explain this? Sir Ralph the Rover had a resentment about the fame and kindness of the abbot of Aberbrothock. Means he just didn't want to accept that somebody was praising him. That is the abbot of Aberbrothock. So he made a wicked plan to put an end to his fame. He could have just avoided that and moved ahead, but no, he just could not take that good things that were spoken about him, about the abbot, and so he just wanted to do something in order to end that. So he made a very wicked plan. Why? Because that was something which was going to affect many people. Okay, so he made this wicked plan to end his fame. So he decided to cut off the bell. So he thought once the bell is cut, then the story will be over and nobody will then continue talking about him. It was the joyful time of spring, and the rover was very happy as he whistled and sang songs. But no one knew that his wickedness was masked with happiness and about his plans. So he seemed to be very happy and joyful, but inside he was having these plans and he wanted to carry on his plans of putting an end to the abbot's fame. Then next one, some words in the poem are related to different parts of a ship or a mariner's life. Given below are the meanings of those terms. Identify the words. Now here these words we have come across in the poem, so I'm sure you will be able to guess them. Helps in steering the ship. So what is it called? The sail. Okay. The lowest part of the ship is known as keel. Floating object that shows direction, buoy. Another name for a ship is vessel, and sinking sound would be gurgling. Then this is the explanation of what a ballad is. Let's go to the next. Select the appropriate figure of speech from the box given below and complete the table. So they have given us the examples from the poem, and we have to mention the figure of speech and the explanation. So the second one, no stir in the air, no stir in the sea. So there is the figure of speech used here is repetition. Why? Because the words are repeated for better poetic effect. The third one, on a buoy in the storm, it floated and swung. So the figure of speech here is personification. The bell here is given the human quality. Okay. Then the fourth one, down sang the bell with a gurgling sound. So the figure of speech used here is onomatopoeia because the sound is expressed in the word gurgling. So when I say gurgling, you know that it is some kind of a sound. So it is onomatopoeia. Then the next one is the devil below was ringing his knell. So the figure of speech here is metaphor. Why? Because direct comparison is made between the ringing of the bell and the devil's knell. The ship was as still as she could be. So the figure of speech here is simile. Indirect comparison is made. On the deck, the rover takes his stand. Here it is inversion. The words are not arranged in proper prose order. Okay. Then the last one, oh Christ. So the figure of speech here is apostrophe. Feeling is represented by an exclamation. All right. The next one, write an appreciation of the poem, The Inchcape Rock. This I'm sure you will be able to do by yourself. Then next, compose 4 to 6 lines on C. Again, this you have to do by yourself. The next one, expand the ideas on your own on the following topics. So they have given the topics. You have to write the expansion of the ideas here, understanding what the topic means. The next, the poem begins with, without either sign or sound of their shock, the waves flowed over the Inchcape Rock. And the poem ends with, till the vessel strikes with a shivering shock. On the basis of these lines, explain the change in mood of the poem. So it is very evident that the poem begins with the description of calm state of the sea. Okay, in the beginning it's very nice and calm. The sea is pictured in a very nice manner, like you would feel joyful in order to start your voyage in the sea because it is nice and calm. There is very less wind that is blowing, and so the waves are moving very little. Okay, so without any movement in the sea or air, the atmosphere is nice and good, thus showing no risk to anyone voyaging in the sea. However, in the last stanza, the mood changes to anxiety, worry, and fear when the ship suddenly strikes against the Inchcape Rock. The atmosphere then, which was calm earlier, has now turned into gale. Okay, there are strong winds blowing, and there's a lot of uh, fear. Okay, in the atmosphere in the last stanza towards the end of the poem. Okay, so this is how the mood changes from calm to fearful towards the end. Then question number A7 is completely, there are some informations about the opportunities you have on and offshore, or the things you can do in order to join the Indian Navy. So everything is given here. So any of you who just, might not being able to decide what they have to do in their future, and if something strikes you, that yes, this is for me, okay, this occupation or this profession is for me, then go ahead, read up all this information which is given here. You can even visit this website which they have given and find out more about what you need to do in order to join the Indian Navy. Also, they have given you the required qualifications and various fields opportunities for women as well to join the Indian Navy. Okay, and the colleges which provide education in oceanography. Now, what is oceanography? It's the study of the physical, the chemical, and the biological features of the ocean. So it includes also the ocean's ancient history and its current condition and its future. Okay, so this kind of study is known as oceanography, and they have given you the various colleges where you can go ahead and study this in this field. Okay, so go ahead and look up all to all this information. You never know, something might just work well for you. All right. So here we end the brainstorming and the icebreaker section of the poem. I'm sure you have understood. And my dear students, please start, thinking about these factors that we have decided in this poem, the various qualities that we got to know about people, about incidences. And while you're just sitting, in your idle time, just start, going back to various things that you have lived up to in your life till now and what you want to do ahead. Okay, I will leave you with this thought. Until next time, thank you and have a nice day.